Liverpool Reaction, an American LFC podcast, starts now. All right, Coach, part 3, where we are going to be reviewing the preseason games and looking ahead to the Community Shield with Crystal Palace. Coach, before that, just want to kind of mention the Adidas deal, 10-year deal with Liverpool, big commitment from Adidas to Liverpool. Coach, on this past Friday, I woke up at 2 a.m. to make sure I got myself 2 jerseys. I got the red home jersey and I got an away Florian Wirtz jersey. I like how simple they are and clean they are. Adidas, in my opinion, I like better than Nike, but what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, listen, I'm an Adidas man, so yeah. I mean, Liverpool have had them before. I think in 2 separate eras. So yeah. I mean, it's primarily known as a soccer brand. So yeah, I'm glad to see them back with Adidas.
Coach, when we kind of review these games, it starts at Preston North End, 3-1 victory. Bradley scores in the 33rd, and then Darwin and Gakpo score in the second half. It was a preseason game. I mean, really, it was their first game. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've played 4 games in preseason, one of which was behind closed doors, and I think the Preston game, I mean, obviously that was different because of the Diogo Jota situation, and I think Preston really did a great job of kind of respecting Liverpool and the memory of the player and his brother. You know, like, that was fantastic. But if you're going to look at what was on the field, I think that you look at Preston, Stoke, and Milan together. Because what Liverpool did in those 3 games was they played mix and match teams in each half, which would be maybe half a team of established players, half a team of younger players that are on the rise, as it were, younger guys from the academy. Mm-hmm. So they did that in all 3 games, and against Preston and Stoke, they won the games pretty comfortably overall. Against Milan, it was a different story because I felt that Milan played the game more like it was a competitive game, in as much as they put out an established team and clearly had the tactic of sitting in and countering. And clearly, I mean, like, they've got Christian Pulisic, and they've got Leao, who look really good.
But yeah, they look lively.
One of the things that was interesting for me about that was Leao's goal after 10 minutes, where he got the ball over on the left, and Virgil van Dijk came across. And I feel that in a real game, that Van Dijk would have probably challenged him more. So from that perspective, I mean, like, it was a cracking shot, to beat the goalie at the near post. But yeah, I think that if that had been a Champions League game, I think Van Dijk wouldn't have allowed him to shoot quite so easily. So there was a little bit of that element as well. And the 4th goal that Liverpool gave up, where there was the big mix-up between Tsimikas and Mamardashvili. I mean, like, I hope we're not going to get that in the regular season, and I suspect we won't.
Yeah.
I mean, really, some of the games, and I think Milan in particular, Liverpool were there to attack, and they didn't seem so bothered or as well organised at the back. And I suspect that that's going to change once we get down to business.
Yeah. In the Milan game, it was a stronger starting 11 than the second half. So ending the game 1-1, Sabaslai's goal was really something special too. A nice little curler from the left side there. But when you look at it that way, I think Milan starters were in until almost the 60th, 65th minute even. So yeah, they took it a little bit more serious, or maybe their plan for preseason's a little bit different. regardless, it's preseason. The game doesn't count. And Liverpool, we saw kind of some some potential of what it could be. I think between Salah and Verts, there was a little mix-up. Salah could have shot, and I think he tried to get Verts' first goal. Also, Verts put Harvey Elliott through. I think Harvey Elliott, maybe 3-4 weeks from that time, he probably gets his foot on it. Just kind of ran by him just a little bit. So overall, those 3 games, we're building towards something. It's clear. Some people might say that counterattack was alarming a little bit, but again, I think you're right, Coach. I think Van Dijk was striding over there. He wasn't sprinting over there. And he probably could put him off. And I think also you give Leao that kind of opportunity. I'm not sure he beats Alisson all the time, majority of the time up high in the short post. So regardless, kudos to AC Milan. They did play well, but overall, I think the first half is really what I took of the game and where it was important. It was a 1-1 game, and I thought we played well. Yokohama.
Yeah. Now the first half, I thought he put out a serious team, and interestingly enough, they didn't exactly set the world on fire. I mean, like, they looked okay,
right?
But yeah. I mean, obviously there was just that edge missing again, which you could possibly attribute to preseason.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later in the game when he threw on the bench and the youngsters and everything that that Liverpool really got on top. And probably part of that as well, even though Yokohama's in season, was they probably ran out of gas a little bit because they're under pressure, and then they were making a lot of changes to their team. So I think that was another factor, but Liverpool certainly got on top late in the game.
That field was rough. I mean, they were Liverpool players were miscontrolling everything, where touches weren't that great, and you could see there were big patches of kind of cleat marks all over the place, and really,
it was cutting up a lot.
Yeah, I'm just glad nobody got injured in that game. I was watching the game, really just hoping everybody kind of got out of there healthy, no kind of weird ankle twist or knee twist, anything odd like that. But Coach, when we look at Crystal Palace, we mentioned in the last part about Guéhi potentially coming over, but does it make sense for him to come over before the Community Shield, or probably makes more sense after? But what do you see in Crystal Palace that could offer Liverpool a challenge? And also, it is a trophy. It's not maybe as serious of a trophy as the other ones that we'll be competing for, but it is a trophy.
Yeah, I don't really count the Shield as a trophy, but I know some do, and I know Pep Guardiola did last year. When he had a down season, all of a sudden it was important. And actually, Jose Mourinho was the same before. But yeah, I mean, Palace are in a situation where you've got Eze. Eze might go to Arsenal, and Guéhi. Obviously, these are big players for them. These are key men. I mean, but they've still got Matata up front, and I'm surprised that Newcastle aren't looking at him, because I think he's a really good striker. And
I agree.
He's certainly a big presence. So I mean, like, Palace showed winning the cup. I suspect it'll be a game where Liverpool will have the majority of the possession. It'll be a little bit like the cup final. So can Crystal Palace do it again in similar fashion to last May? And can Liverpool break them down? But I think from a general perspective, I think that we're going to see. I mean, because there's a doubleheader tomorrow against Bilbao, and I think that we'll start to see more of the hand that Arne Slot is going to play this season, or certainly the opening week against Bournemouth. And I think we'll get more of that next Sunday against Crystal Palace. We'll see what some of his thoughts are. Was he going to play Florian Wirtz? And again, I have a feeling that he probably won't start at a TK or
Ekatike, yeah.
I have a feeling he won't start, and he'll probably play Gakpo on the left, Salah on the right. So he'll probably use him more dropping back into the midfield, because I think Szoboszlai's got the ability to, to get forward. And then the other thing that's been interesting through the preseason is he's not used McAllister a lot. So I don't know if he's kind of easing him in, because I know he's had some injury issues and what have you. So maybe he won't start McAllister. So we'll have to wait and see on all these things. There's a ways to go yet, and I think Arne Slot is now getting to the point, and I think we saw that in Japan, where he's starting to show his hand.
Yeah, McAllister's been playing a lot of football over the last 3-4 years, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. But Coach, as far as a strong lineup, let's kind of take all things with a grain of salt here from a standpoint of what would be the strongest lineup against Crystal Palace. And we know that Arne Slot is there's going to be some things in there that he's going to do to maybe protect some players. But in the back, it's got to be Kerkez, Van Dijk, Konate, and then do you start Bradley or do you start Frimpong?
I think you'll start Bradley and use Frimpong as an impact player. I mean, I think the days of saying what's your strongest 11 are over. I think it's your strongest 16.
You're right.
So, so you've got those 5 players at the back. And in the midfield, depends what he does with Florian Wirtz, but you've got Ryan Gravenberch. Yeah. I think Szoboszlai will start. And I think McAllister, because I think that on this occasion he'll use Wirtz up front. And then you've got Curtis Jones will be part of your 16 as well. TK will be part of your 16. So yeah, and you've got Gakpo on the left, you've got Salah on the right up front.
With these impact players, you mentioned the 16. I mean, you could bring Ekatike in for the left, or bring in Ekatike and then slide Wirtz to the left. Could bring in Frimpong for Bradley or Salah. There's a lot of ways you can tweak the lineup. I mean, even from a standpoint of if he starts Curtis Jones instead of McAllister can come in and replace Gravenberch or Curtis Jones. So there's a lot of players that have a lot of versatility. And to kind of make this an analogy to American sports, this really reminds me of Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots, constantly having versatility and tailoring the game to the opponent, not always forcing your style down the throat of the opponent. And I think that's what's going to separate Arne Slot from a lot of managers. And the fact that he can do that is really, really special. We saw glimpses of it last year, but now this is starting to become his team, his players. Granted, there's still some very key elements of Klopp teams here. Coach, what else could Arne Slot do this year that we haven't seen last year from a coaching perspective?
Well, I think the biggest thing that he's got to do, and I think I heard an interview where he kind of suggested it himself, is rotate more in midfield. I mean, he certainly rotated the fullbacks, and then he had players up front that he could rotate as well. But as we all felt at the time, I think they ran out of gas a bit in midfield because he always wanted to play pretty much Gravenberg, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. And yes, he had Curtis Jones, got a good amount of time. But I think, I think Endo and I think Harvey Elliott could have played more. Although I'm interested to see. I have a feeling he sees Endo more in defence than in midfield.
Yeah, Endo's a closer. There's no doubt about it. He praised Endo, and at the Yokohama game, he gave, when he came in, he brought him in before he brought everybody else in. He got the captain's band. He held up the trophy. I thought it was a nice touch by Arne Slot. I think Coach also, the from a tactical standpoint, the fact that he has so many different ideas and how to do things, and he has players that are versatile, it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how he matches up against, teams like Manchester City last year using 2 number 10s. I think he did that also against Real Madrid. So now also a lot of it depends on, as Isak come in, how quickly can Ekitike get used to the English game and start producing. There's some people that believe Ekitike is a 20 to 25 goal scorer this year. And I thought that was aggressive. I hope that comes true, but that seems a little aggressive.
Yeah, I would say that's very aggressive.
Well, yeah, but Coach, the bones are there, right? The talent is there. The coach is there. The stability of FSG is there. The stadium is there. The fans are there. I mean, we are all rowing in the same direction.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, like there's a lot of pieces are in place, and I think next week after the Palace game that we should kind of analyze or kind of speculate as to how it comes together. Well, hopefully in the way that we want.
What do you think the score is going to be
against Palace?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a tight game, 1-0, 2-1, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty much Palace sit in, Liverpool possess, and Palace are good on the break, as they showed against Manchester City, and we'll see how Liverpool can or they can't break them down. Hopefully they can.
Very exciting that the actual first semi-competitive game, I'll call it, is right around the corner next week. And then the following Friday, we're rolling. It's on. So
exactly. So
very, very excited. Coach, any significance of Wirtz getting the number 7, the legendary number 7?
Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot of significance in that. Kevin Keegan, Kenny Dalglish, Luis Suarez, all these number 7s Liverpool have had. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of significance in that.
I thought it was very funny how all the new players had these funny numbers, 58, 59, 63, whatever those numbers were. And I was curious why they weren't selecting a number. And then I thought, oh, right, the Liverpool, the Adidas deal. Everybody's waiting for that.
Yeah. They were holding off on that. So
makes sense. I guess at the end of the day, it's just a number on the back of the jersey, right?
Exactly.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much. This was part 3 of a 3-part series, kind of talking about the summer of Liverpool's. Very exciting stuff. And the season's around the corner. We will be back at some point next week to discuss the Community Shield match with Crystal Palace. We are going to kind of analyze the squad a little bit more in depth. Also look at some major rivals, and fantasy football is back. And some exciting new players, exciting new options. So stay tuned, and please remember to subscribe. I know we got the ticker kind of going across the bottom, but we want you to be part of this community, and also any comments are welcomed. We will be happy to engage with you about your thoughts. So curious to know what your thoughts are about the starting lineup against Crystal Palace and how everything will turn out this year. Coach, thanks again as always, and we'll see everybody next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye now.
Coach and I want to take a second to thank everybody for watching on YouTube or listening on podcast format wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe or follow wherever you consume our content. We are looking forward to continuing to bring you the best Liverpool content out there. We'll see you next week.